All right, today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. That there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. So I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.
It's Bondzee Live. Trippin With Bondzee on YouTube. The more you fuck around, the more you'll find out. You're welcome for that lesson, by the way. And trust me, I'm on the full 10 on 10. I have done a lot of fucking around in my life, and I found out a lot of shit and done a lot of shit and seen a lot of shit, some that I regret. Not that I have any regrets. I just wish some of those things didn't happen. How you doing? Welcome. It's Bondzee. Bondzee Live, Trippin With Bondzee, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, the whole 9 yards. You can find me anywhere on social media. It's great to be back. Episode 222. 222 is there's something biblical about it, or glassy. Do you know what the meaning of 222 is? It's supposed to be positive. So anyways, hopefully coming back. It's episode 222. It's Trippin With Bondzee. Happy to be back. Got a big old smile on my face. Listen, it's been a tough few months. It's been more than a tough few months, but especially the last couple. December, beginning of January, royally sucked. Got really sick. I was all ready to come back. We were doing so good. I was back and then got really sick. I went away to Florida with the worst internet possible. Like, you would think you're in North America, you'd have some pretty fucking good internet no matter where you went. Turns out that's not the case. Greg Masilli, thanks for joining the show, buddy. Yeah, I miss you too. I was already supposed to be there. We'll get into that. Maybe we won't. I ended up having to stay here for numerous reasons. One, my boy Patty died. We're going to get into a nice little tribute to that in a minute. I will hold it together. I promise. I held it together at the funeral when I spoke there. Sort of. I did good. I done good. Me and my mom. Gregory Scott, you did such a very good job. I'm so proud of you for getting up there and speaking about your friend like that. Thanks, Mom. Anyways, she was proud of me, and a lot of you were too, and we'll get into all that after. Anyways, we should get into the sponsors. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. It's nice to be back. Glassy says, when it comes to being 222, it may be time to create better connections within your life. There you go. There's a lot more to it too. My son explained it to me because he started to incorporate it in his clothing line, which he's a sponsor. We'll see him at the end of the show, or his clothing line. Anyways, all right. Speaking of sponsors, show's brought to you by Shakespeare's Fine Dining, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Listen, they've been around for 50 years. The dad took a leap of faith back 50 years ago, opened this amazing restaurant, steakhouse, fine dining. It is the best, folks. Highly recommend you make a reservation or you're going to be in trouble. Call 905-528-0689, www.shakespeares.ca. You can go get gift cards online, make reservations online. And yeah, they got the best steaks, scallops, lobster, you name it. It's the best. Go check them out. All the stars go there. You should too. Please make a reso. All right. Show's also brought to you by Above Your Service. This is an amazing service. It's a not-for-profit organization. It's veteran-based and caters to healing, health, and wellness, which, as I know all too well, is so important to soldiers in and out of service. Yeah. So anyways, this is an amazing company started by my friend Bryce Hooper, Canadian vet, fully dedicated to helping others. This guy literally goes above and beyond what it takes and what it means to help people out. He loves it, and we love him for his service. It's called Above Your Service. Go check them out on Facebook. Please subscribe, support them in any way you can, donate some money, and yeah, check them out. It's Above Your Service. Love those guys. All right, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. Ayahuasca Shaman coming on. His name's Vinod. I got to meet him in Nicaragua. I did 2 ceremonies with him. We'll tell my stories. He's going to educate us on what ayahuasca is, the effects of it, the benefits of it, and everything. We get right into it. This interview is pre-taped He's in England, so we had to do it this afternoon. It was a fantastic talk. I was blown away by it. The guy's a great dude. We'll get some laughs in there too. You're going to love it. So stick around for that. What else? Oh, next week, Thursday, we were supposed to have a great guest, Spencer, who is in the Army. He was also a jiu-jitsu Canadian champion who missed going to the Olympics by this much. He's going to explain all that. It's supposed to be Thursday. His trip's been extended in Egypt, so he won't be back for a bit. So we'll fill in Thursday. But next week, I've been working super hard on trying to get this guy for a long time. He's finally going to join us. Chris Koster from the Glorious Sons. He's got a solo project out. It's called Spaceman. The video is awesome. I highly recommend you go check it out. The video of the song. It's on YouTube and all your streaming services. There's the single cover right there. Totally awesome. Go check it out. The dude is a wicked dude. He's so down to earth. But man, can he rock on that guitar. Cannot wait to talk to him coming up on the show. That's next Tuesday. And then next Thursday, we got a great Canadian actor from the movie Bandits. He's been in Kids in the Hall. Also, there's another great show, Lock and Key, I believe it's called, the TV series. Jesse Camacho. Wicked dude. You'll love him. You'll get a kick out of him. He's a super, super funny dude. I had the pleasure of meeting him for the premiere of Bandits. There he is right there. What a superstar. Sorry, Glass, you were... I'll let you do your thing. Guy's slow on the trigger. I'm just trying to do it all. There he is right there. What a champ. Super funny dude. Can't wait to talk to him coming up as well. All right. Before we jump into it, I got a really funny news story about the Semen jewelry. And you're like, what? Bondzee, shut up. Semen jewelry. No, I'm not even kidding. This lady, she's here in Ontario, believe it or not. She's just up the street about half hour. She makes, there she is, lovely lady. She makes that jewelry that she's repping and that you see on the other side of the picture there. Folks, that's dried up semen. Yes, a man's ejaculation, if you will. Anyways, I'll tell you the whole story coming up right after this. But listen, I want to get this out of the way. We'll do it real quick. All right. I have to mention the death of my best friend, Pat. 45 years I've known this guy. Wicked, amazing human being. I've known him since about 4 or 5 years old. There he is right there. God bless him. Rest in peace, bro. That was my last picture ever with him. I got to see him 2 weeks before he passed away. We were all hanging out, me, him, and Phil. We're all hanging out together at Phil's house. Had I known that was going to be our last time, man, we would have extended that night into the morning, just to say a proper goodbye. But sadly, he died suddenly in his dad's truck on Christmas Eve morning. They were going to get groceries, and Pat got in the truck, slumped over, and sadly never woke up. Cause of death, we still don't know. Brain aneurysm, heart attack. The list goes, who knows at this point. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He's gone. He was a decorated soldier who risked his life in Afghanistan. There he is right there. So Pat was a clearance diver in the Navy. It was one of the highest elite things you could do in the military. And there he is right there. That's an old school clearance diver. What am I trying to say? Suit. Thank you. That they wear. Anyways, from there, Patty went on to be a bomb diffuser over and did a tour in Afghanistan for almost a full year and diffused countless bombs. He was on the show twice. I had the pleasure of interviewing him twice. And it was awesome. He was always real, raw, fully honest, told some crazy, insane stories. And sadly, war fucked up my buddy. And, he never really was the same, but he was still the same deep down inside. He was so loving, caring. There's him right there on the right in full gear. This is actually live footage of him defusing a bomb in Afghanistan. Anyways, it was sad and devastating, shocking news for everybody. He was loved by so many people around the world due to his services. He'd served in the Navy since 18 years old. Sailed over to the Persian Gulf twice. Did the tour in Afghanistan. Anyways, and then after that, he got out of the military. He went to Thailand and became a hot yoga instructor, and he traveled the world teaching at different studios around the world. So he got to know so many people, and he really did have the opportunity to touch so many people's hearts. Everybody loved him in the entire world, including myself. He was such a hero, so much so that when they were in Afghanistan, a bomb went off. A soldier that was actually at Pat's funeral, believe it or not, he stepped on a landmine, lost his leg. And Patty was nearby, and they found another bomb that was trigger activated by a cell phone. And if it wasn't for Patty dismantling that bomb, sans safety equipment and everything, just barehanded, and he did it. And the chopper was able to come in, helicopter Brock out, saved his life and so many others around in that area that day because of Patty. And he was highly decorated for it. Got the Medal of Bravery from the Canadian government and ceremony in Ottawa. He was pretty proud of that. He was humble about it as well. He thought everybody that was over there deserved a medal like he did. You know, he hated being singled out because it was a team effort for sure. Anyways, yeah. So, anyways, he was such a special dude. He really did. He was the baddest, toughest motherfucker ever. I wouldn't fight him with 5 friends. But he was also the kindest, most gentle soul, and he would help you with anything. He'd give you the shirt off his back, and yeah, he's just the nicest guy in the world. Anyways, I love him. I miss him. So many people miss him, and I got to stop talking about this because I will break down. But anyways, I was lucky to know him for so long. And we have the most amazing memories together. You're forever loved and missed, bro. You rest easy, bro. All right. Okay. There it is. Beautiful ceremony. He was buried in the Field of Honor here in the Hamilton-Burlington border at Woodland Cemetery. He's buried next to another Canadian hero, Nathan Cirillo, which is really special because those are 2 Canadian heroes. There it is right there. Patty side by each with Nathan Cirillo, which is really special. Pat deserved that for sure. Whew. All right, I did it. I didn't even cry. I'm so proud of myself. All right, let's get to this unique Semen jewelry story before. And I got to tiptoe through this because some people are going to get grossed out and they don't get it, and it is what it is. But this lady, God bless her. So I'll tell you how it started. She makes jewelry out of actually ashes, believe it or not, dead people's ashes and other sort of human parts and biology, if you will. And she does amazing work, and her thing started to take off on TikTok. And somebody said, "Hey, why don't you make jewelry out of semen?" And at first she was sort of offended and thought it was weird and odd. And anyways, she thought about it, and I don't know how you Google it. Maybe you just Google and how do you make jewelry out of semen? But listen, she found a way and did it because she came up with some beautiful jewelry, believe it or not. I mean, like, check this out. And that's my color too. Blue and white looks really awesome. But it's just weird because it's made out of a man's ejaculation. But this lovely lady right here, her name's Amanda Booth. She took it to TikTok and when she made it and figured out how to do it, and now she is killing it. Sales are through the roof. The jewelry starts at $110 and goes up to, I think, like 300 plus for custom pieces and stuff. But I mean, listen, it takes the meaning of a pearl necklace to a whole new level, doesn't it? It's a bad joke, I know.
Okay, hold on. Full stop here for a minute. How do you find this? How do you find this?
Well, it was local news. It was all over TikTok.
Why?
It was 6 million views, dude, on TikTok.
And she lives
because
apparently
it's weird and unique and odd. Anyways, that's what she figured out how to take. She started with her husband's lovely donation. That's what she turned it into. Somehow you were able to take a man's semen and turn it into powder, dust, if you will. And then from there, you work it with certain substances. Daniel Baker asked a great question. Why?
Why?
I'll tell you why. People think it's very romantic and kind of erotic that they're wearing each other's, well, more the guys come. It's just a show of affection, they say. It's become a dude. This is, and I'm bringing this up because it is taken off. She's a massive TikTok star now. She's got over
taken off something, all right.
6 million views, dude. And people are buying this stuff up left and right now to the point where she cannot keep up making real pearl necklaces for lovely ladies like this. I mean, look, she's draped in it. It all looks rather lovely.
She looks like the one that would semen harvest. Pull that picture up again. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I'm not getting in that van. Nope.
I don't know. It's
not happening.
Listen, she said the response has been overwhelming. She can't keep up. And
is there a catalog? Can you choose from a catalog of donors? How does this work?
Well, see, that's what I was just about to
dragged us down this rabbit hole. Now you got to let us know what's going on here.
I was wondering if she's paying for donations. Listen, I'm here all alone. I make wonderful love to myself. I would be happy to donate my sperm for jewelry. Why not? I think it's a great way to make a buck.
Oh my God.
Don't you though? Hey, if she's gonna pay me $50 a load or $40 a load,
Hi, Mike.
depending on
Thanks for tuning in. Welcome.
supply and demand, maybe she needs fellas loads. Maybe I could help the fellow Hamiltonians, or maybe you can even mail it. Stony might want to donate his jism man juice, if you will, to this lovely lady Amanda to help with their cause, because there is a big demand. Listen, 6 million people have watched this, have fallen in love with her, and she's off to the races, rolling in it.
Okay, load the comment section up with questions.
I do.
We got to go down
go
this.
back to. Okay.
We wasted 20 minutes on this woman. It looks like she should be drawing semen, not you giving it willingly. And
it's funny how it all started by somebody sort of just in jest making a comment saying, "Hey, have you ever thought of making jewelry out of semen?" Because she makes jewelry out of, like I said, people's ashes. And then there was some other, she made some nice, interesting clay pottery stuff. And it just took off after a comment. So listen, who knows?
Oh, man.
Then listen, the other thing I know is there's
3 months, and this is what happens. You go down a semen jewelry rabbit hole. It's like,
well, I thought it would be a great story to come back with, you know.
Can you get her on the show? Can you get her on the show?
You know what? I think I can, and here's why.
Here's the backstory to this, everybody. Listen to this.
Somebody texted me today, a friend of mine, and she said, "Hey, I actually know her. She's a friend of mine. She lives in Brantford. It's no secret. It was on the news and stuff. But yeah, she's from Brantford, Ontario, which is half an hour from here. And my friend says she knows her. I was going to try and get her on the show for tonight, but we already had a show planned, and I didn't want to sort of do a long-winded rush show. So we'll, if I see the supply and demand is here, people want to talk to the semen jewelry lady. Why wouldn't we? I think it's fantastic. I'll get her on the show for Thursday. Why not?
Why not?
She's making bucket loads of money from
bucket loads
jewelry out of bucket loads of jizz.
There you go.
Hey, it's a tough world out there, folks, and any way you can make a buck, God bless you. Anyways, God bless her.
Wow, that's why it's bypassed us for the Galactic Federation. Yeah.
Speaking of crazy stuff, and that, let's move right into ayahuasca. I don't know how many people out there have done it, have heard of it. Maybe you've heard. Maybe the only thing you know about ayahuasca, which is a big thing out there, is that you throw up violently when you do ayahuasca, which is true. Not everybody does, though, and that's true. But most people. Listen, they give you a bucket when you sit down on your mattress because you're going to need it. Anyways, here to tell us all about it. It's a great friend of mine. I had the pleasure meeting him in Nicaragua. I got to do 2 ceremonies with him. We'll get into all that in this interview as well. I think you're going to love it. Without further ado, let's go and do it. It's Vinod, the ayahuasca shaman. All right. My guest tonight is Vinod. You're over in Europe. You are a ayahuasca. It froze. Let's try again. Oh, that's awesome. We tested this earlier. I played it. Glassy, let me. Oh, it just disappeared. All right, let me plug in the hard drive. I'll reload it. Bear with me. Glassy, why don't you roll a video while. He loves doing that. So glad. All right, let me reload this. We'll try again.
See, this is why you let me handle the video.
I know. I should have just sent it to you. I was trying to be all proud of myself and load it in like a good soldier, and I failed. All right, let's try it again. Let's go. All right, my guest tonight is Vinod. You're over in Europe. You are a ayahuasca shaman, correct?
Some people, that is how some people would describe it. Yes.
Okay. Well, welcome to the show. I mean,
Thank you.
I'm fascinated by ayahuasca. I knew a lot about it from living in Nicaragua, but even before I went there, and that's where we met.
Yeah.
And then I finally had the opportunity to get to do ayahuasca, and twice actually, and it was with you. out in the jungles of Nicaragua, and it was a wonderful setting. And it's something I'm really glad I did. It opened my eyes to a lot of stuff, but a lot of people don't know much about ayahuasca, what it is, what it does, the effects. So we're basically here to educate people tonight on the ayahuasca effects and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I appreciate you taking the time to join me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So you were in Nicaragua, you lived there with your family. Now you're back in England. That must have been a transition going from, paradise to, I'm not saying England's not paradise. I love it there.
Not paradise.
But it's not quite Nicaragua. What was that like?
Well, it was quite the thing for me. Me and my family lived in Nicaragua for 8 years. And before then I lived in Thailand for 13 years. And before then, I lived in India and Israel for 10 years before then. So I haven't actually lived in the UK since 1986. I think I spent nearly 35 years in the tropics. So obviously that was a big thing in my life, was moving back to this cold place where it's already -3 degrees.
Of all those places that you just mentioned and were living 35 years, including Nicaragua, what was your favorite?
I do get asked that a lot, and that is a very common question, and there is absolutely no way of really answering that. It's one thing that I learned in my travels. I traveled quite extensively in that 30 years, was that there's amazing beauty wherever you go on the planet, and it's up to us whether we appreciate it or not. I'm even appreciating the cold back in England, believe it or not. After 35 years of not having to wear my long johns.
Yeah, that must have been quite a culture shock for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad we had the opportunity to meet in Nicaragua. We met through some mutual friends, and that's how I had the opportunity to do ayahuasca. Now, it's funny because before we get into ayahuasca, somebody once told me, because I knew they had done it. It was in Nicaragua, and she had told me that you don't find ayahuasca, Mother Ayahuasca finds you.
She comes and finds you, indeed.
Is that true? Is that statement hold some truth to it, or what?
Yes, I would say that is a almost universal truth. I personally was offered ayahuasca for probably 10 years before I actually tried it.
Wow.
I was tempted, but for various reasons, I decided not to try it. Whether or not it was because it was offered, it was being done in a little pokey apartment in the middle of London or something like that.
Right.
And so, for about 9 or 10 years, I said no, and I resisted ayahuasca, and then eventually, surprise, surprise, she came to me. In fact, the whole story is that after 10 years, I decided I can't be bothered with this anymore. I'm just going to go back home, earn some money, go to Peru, and get it over with. And then I would say only 2 months after that, after I'd made that decision to go and earn the money to go and do Peru and meet her, I got this completely random email in my inbox from this person that I didn't know, who said, I have this tame ayahuasca shaman from Peru who wants to come to Thailand and do ceremonies. And as I was living in Thailand at the time and had a very nice house, I offered my services, and it just so happened that he, probably about 3 months after that initial email, he was in my house in Thailand doing my first ever ceremony with me, which was absolutely fantastic.
Wow. Yeah, I'll never forget my first one. I'll never forget either one of them. But the first one was special for sure, and we'll get into more of that later. So let's jump right into ayahuasca. It's not a drug. It's called medicina, you call it, right? During the ceremony.
The people who do it call it a medicine. Of course, the people who like to make lists of illegal things would call it a drug. But the people who do it, their most common name for it is medicine, or the madrecita, which means the little big yummy mummy. Okay. Because of its effect, it's a medicine. It can heal all sorts of things, including deep traumas and addictions, all that kind of stuff. But it heals that in a very loving and nurturing and mothering way, which is why they call it the madrecita. And it is a very unique thing. It's a the active ingredient of it is called DMT, which is actually a tryptamine. Dimethyltryptamine, yes, which comes in many forms, including in our own brain. Human beings produce it all the time in our pineal gland. But the real clever thing about ayahuasca is that somebody, at least a few thousand years ago, discovered in the midst of the cornucopia of the Amazon that this particular plant, if you mix it with this particular plant, makes this particular brew, which is what the Western scientists, it really baffled them at first. It was like, well, how the hell did you know that? And for the Western people, the thing that they mixed with the DMT is a thing called an MAOI, which is a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, which Western science didn't even know about till the 60s. And so when the Western scientists discovered these things, they went down to South America and said, how the hell did you guys even know that these substances were in these plants, let alone how did you discover that mixing these two individual plants out of all the millions of plants in the Amazon would produce that result? And of course, the ayahuasqueros pissed off the scientists even more by saying, "Oh, the plant told us what to do."
Of course it did. Of course it did. It's funny. So it was originated in Peru, right? That's where it began.
Not necessarily in Peru. Of course, ayahuasca has a history that's a lot longer than Peru before those particular lines on the map were drawn. I'd say it naturally occurs in the northwestern part of South America, so that includes Peru and Ecuador and Colombia, that part of the northwest part of the Amazon. So it comes from that whole region. It's called many different things. Called yahe is the Colombian name for it, but in Peru it would be called ayahuasca. Yeah.
So ayahuasca's turned into, and I have a photo here. It starts as this, basically.
That's it. A
leaf and some bark, I believe, from another plant, right? And then
it's a leaf and a vine.
Right, and then it's turned into a liquid form, correct?
Turned into a liquid form that looks a little bit like drinking mud, as you know, or brown, very strong coffee. It looks like.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It's not the tastiest of things, but it wasn't horrible either.
And when you get a good brew, it can be very, very yummy. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily for recreational purposes. That's one amazing thing about ayahuasca. One of the effects of it can be that you throw up, you purge, and for that one reason. Has saved it from just becoming a party drug, because who wants to go to a party and throw up on people?
Right. It deters a lot of people for sure. I think if you were to ask anybody,
that action deters a lot of people, that there's a possibility that you're going to purge. Yeah.
That's right. If you ask anybody who is really not educated on ayahuasca, the one thing they do know is, isn't that one that makes you throw up or shit your pants or whatever? Yes, it definitely does make you purge. But that's part of the process. That's the medicina, the work.
Indeed. That is the medicina doing the work. And in fact, I would say the two most important parts of the medicine doing the work is the purgative part, which, interestingly enough, the natives of South America who like to do it, that's what they hold as the most important part of it. The Westerners who have now been indulging in ayahuasca for maybe 30 or 40 years, they tend to want the hallucinogenic effect or the visionary effect, which is the other most important part of the healing. Yeah, those two things.
So let's talk about that a little more. The throwing up is definitely a thing, and I don't know if it's morbid to say this, but it's hard. People hate throwing up. I don't like throwing up, but in the ceremony, and you listen, I threw up violently. I take my worst hangover and throwing up, which I was really good at back in the day when I was a heavy drinker. I would throw up wickedly. Nothing compares to the intensity. Like I was surprised that there was any more throw up left in my body, liquid in my body to purge. But you know, it was oddly satisfying in this way, because it really did feel good to release the poison, if you will, and the demons that are inside.
Absolutely. I used to be, you know, I used to experiment with all sorts of things, especially in my 20s. I used to be a heavy drinker in my 20s, which was actually interesting when I got into the powers of LSD. But I would say that the difference between an ayahuasca purge and throwing up after alcohol is almost as different as two things could be. Like you said, when you experienced it, you can, you know, throwing up after from a hangover feels bad, but when you throw up on ayahuasca, your body can tell that it's actually good, and it can be an amazing feeling. It doesn't feel like throwing up. It feels like you said, like kind of getting rid of demons or getting rid of something out of your body. I had one of the most kind of ecstatic experiences of my life in Thailand. Was actually the first time I threw up on ayahuasca, throwing up in my back garden, and it was an amazing ecstatic experience of, you know, communication with the plants in my garden and everything. It was an amazing experience. Yeah.
And people might say, oh, that sounds so weird and stuff, and maybe it does sound weird, but it really isn't. It is so beneficial, and I really do think this world would be a better place if more people did ayahuasca. Correct?
That is absolutely correct. And I would say especially those people who are under the mistaken impression that they're somehow our leaders or whatever. I'm sure if every parliament in every country opened with an ayahuasca session, the world would be a completely different place.
I totally agree. They need a ceremony for sure. Absolutely. So let's talk about the other, besides the purging, which does deter people for sure, the hallucinogenic side. It's a very odd thing. I was, you know, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't completely scared and nervous coming into reasons. You know, I was worried about throwing up because I hated it at the time. The trauma that I had from, you know, watching a 22-year-old kid get hit and killed by a train. I was worried that that's what Mother Ayahuasca was gonna, and I wasn't sure I was ready to deal with it yet, even though I'd been running from it at the time when I did ayahuasca with you. So, and it's for some reason, you know, I still wasn't ready, but obviously it kind of was because I did go. And funny enough, out of the 2 times that I did it with you, Vinod, I never even experienced the, you know, the trauma of that train. My Mother Ayahuasca, I guess, decided I wasn't quite ready for that yet. Now, we definitely dealt with other stuff. So to jump forward, the way ayahuasca works and the way it worked for me, and maybe you can explain if this is true for everybody, when you lay down or sit and you close your eyes, that's when you enter the spirit world, right?
Ayahuasca
is
a very mysterious thing, is all I can say. And all this talk about throwing up and purging and having visions and all those kind of things, those are only 2 possible things that can happen during a ceremony. And that is not to forget that a million other things can happen during a ceremony. We're all completely individual, and our reaction, our response to the medicine can be completely individual. You know, there's no telling what's going to happen or what you're going to feel or how you're going to feel. One thing that we can do, like your experience, one thing people think that it's all part of thinking that we're in control. A lot of people go to ceremonies thinking, I'm gonna use this ceremony to fix this part of something that I want to fix.
Right.
And like you found out, ayahuasca has actually got an intelligence of her own. So once she goes into her body, she might have your little petty concerns, and she'll go, nah, I'm not going to deal with that. I know something else that we need to deal with. And
So true.
she'll go straight to that other thing that she recognizes needing deal with.
Yeah.
And so in a way, to me, that's actually what the ayahuasca ceremony is all about, is letting go of the control that we all think that we have, the illusion of control in our lives, and trusting in the wisdom of Mother Ayahuasca.
So during we keep using the word ceremony because basically that's what it is. It's done with a proper shaman like yourself.
Yeah.
I got a few questions. So first off, I'll ask you, you did ayahuasca how many times before you decided to become a shaman? And the back question to that is, did Mother Ayahuasca ask you or tell you to become a shaman?
Well, that's a interesting question. I actually was interested in shamanism as long ago as, in my teens or early 20s, and I did my first shamanic healing course. I did a 3-year shamanic healing course in the early 90s, beginning in 93. And then I practiced all of the things that I learned, obviously, on my unsuspecting friends and family. And it was probably 10 years before I felt to actually charge for my services.
Right.
And all of this time, obviously, the thought of ayahuasca was in the back of my head, and I had this 10 years where I had opportunities to do it. And then eventually in 2006, after I'd, technically been on the shamanic path for 15 years already, is when I actually met Mother Ayahuasca in the way that I've already described, the quite serendipitous way that I've already described. And I'd say Don Victor, who's my maestro, who taught me everything I know about the ayahuasca path, he probably came back to Thailand 3, 4, 5 times over about 5 years. And I probably did 100 ceremonies with him, 80 or 100 ceremonies with him.
Wow.
And then he stopped going back to Thailand. And basically me and, this small community of people who'd got into drinking ayahuasca with him were left, kind of rudderless. And so, the plant kind of said to me, as you're the person who's done it the most, why don't you take over that role of doing the ceremonies?
Well, you really do an amazing job. I was, like I said, I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I knew I was going to throw up from what I was told, and that was about it, right? And it really is a fascinating ceremony. It's not just you sit there and drink the liquid and sit around. You actually perform, and we're seeing a couple of photos here. You actually inhale smoke at times and blow it on stuff, and there's incense or what's that stuff? The sage or whatever you burn.
Palo Santo.
There you go. And it's quite a process and a ceremony. You're chanting. There's chimes from what I remember. I was fascinated by the whole thing. And it's cool because you can go into when see Mother Ayahuasca, deal with her, or close your eyes and have the visions. But you can also just open your eyes at any given time and sort of sit there and just think or just meditate. We pass joints around. It's pretty cool that you could do ayahuasca, and it's actually I found it quite fascinating to smoke a joint while on ayahuasca. It's recommended that you don't speak during the ceremonies. It's a very quiet thing. The only person who's really speaking or chanting, if you will, is you. It really is something to behold. I'm really glad I did it. Can you explain more of the benefits? I know you touched on it briefly, but for people, many amazing benefits. Can you run through a few of them?
Well, I should imagine the list of benefits is probably as long as there are human beings on the planet. There's 8, as I mentioned before, there are 8 billion people on the planet, and the really, to me, the really amazing thing about the medicine of ayahuasca is that it's all to do with the personal relationship of you and the medicine, which is why I said the responses of individuals can be legion. They can be a million different things, different ways that people respond, because it's a very personal relationship. You're actually putting the spirit of these two plants into your body, and when she's inside your body, she can make a completely personalized healing plan. It's a and to me, that's actually the magic of ayahuasca. It's not a, like we would think of a medicine. It's a medicine for anything, but it's to me a true medicine, and that is a medicine that is good for whatever you need her to be good for. And she has the intelligence to recognize what you personally need and to deal with that personal thing. It's not like a generic medicine. It's to me the true meaning of a medicine that heals you for your particular needs, which is, I find, amazing about the properties.
Very well said.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, both of my times that I did it, night and day difference.
Absolutely.
And I heard that.
Absolutely.
The very first time I did it was next to that wonderful lady. We shared the mattress, and she had the tea, and she had done ayahuasca like 25 times.
Yeah.
And she said every time was different healing. And it's fascinating that people have done it that many times. Like I said, both of my times were different. The second one was way more intense.
Yeah.
It started off really joyous, and I remember laying down and I was seeing all these beautiful colors and just feeling so warm. And then these literally like little black ghosts. I could see them. I had my eyes closed. I was in my vision. I could see these little tiny black ghosts coming out of my mouth, one after the other. And I was like, this is so awesome. The poison's coming out. And I remember, and I'll never do this again if I do ayahuasca again, I remember asking Mother Ayahuasca, I'm thankful for all the little ones. Let's go get the big guy.
I gotta be careful what you ask for.
She immediately snapped me too, and I barked more violently in my entire life. She goes, you want to play, big boy? We'll play. Oh my God. I remember saying, I'm sorry. And then the next, I think 2 or 3 hours, I just literally laid in a curled ball asking for forgiveness, and she was helping me.
Can we get back to the little ones?
Yeah, I was right. Can we go back to the first time when it was nicer? But that's the magic of Mother Ayahuasca, and I vowed after that second time I would never do it again. I remember after going, that's it. I'm never doing it again. But then a few days later, I was like, you know what? I want more. And that's how it is. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go back. But it's funny. Ayahuasca lasts with you after you've done it. This ceremony lasts 5 hours. Yeah.
Ceremony usually lasts, between 4 hours to, well, some of them last 10 hours, some of them last all day. But usually 5, 6, 7 hours, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the benefits of that stay with you for days or weeks after sometimes. Is that a proper way to say it?
Yeah, you could say that what you could say is that you will feel the effects of her still working in your body for several days afterwards.
Positively, not negatively.
You'll feel it still moving around your body, shifting stuff in your body. And I would say, of course, if you do the real magic, which is the integration, that is somehow, that's the trouble with how we, and why we call them drugs in the West. That's the negative aspect of our usual Western relationship with what we call drugs, is that we give away our power to the drug. We think, oh, I took that acid and the acid made me go funny and or I did that cocaine and the cocaine made me go crazy. The magic of ayahuasca is that if you take the time afterwards to integrate the lessons of what she was trying to tell you in that brief time, in that 4, 5, 6 hours, those lessons can last your whole life. They can teach you how to integrate health into your life rather than just think of health as only when you take the pill kind of thing. It's not a magic medicine. in that it's going to instantly heal everything, but it is a magic medicine in that it encourages you to use that experience to, like I say, to integrate those lessons into your normal life so that you can feel that always, is the idea. Yeah.
Right. So ceremony, let's get back to that for
Yeah.
a second. Like I said, you put on a great show, and all the shamans do, and I'm sure they each put the, their own
Mhm.
spin on it and stuff. Ayahuasca is not a drug, or maybe it is. And I don't know this, and I'm going to ask. Is it something you recommend people just get their hands on and do it with some buddies in the basement and without the proper shaman way and the chanting and the smoke ceremony and stuff?
So, as you may have been aware, nobody knew about ayahuasca 40 years ago, apart from the people who did it in South America. And then a bunch of psychonauts led by Terence McKenna and his brother and all those kind of people, they went down to South America and basically popularized it for the West. And I don't know if you've noticed, but in that past 40 years, suddenly everyone's talking about it, everyone's doing it. You've got celebrities in Hollywood talking about drinking ayahuasca, all that kind of stuff.
Aaron Rodgers from the Green Bay Packers.
Indeed. Lots of people going on lots of places to talk about the benefits of ayahuasca and all that kind of. Partly, of course, because they managed to win a legal case in the States a few years ago that you can do it for religious purposes. So it's actually a slight anomaly. Wow. It's actually legal in the States to do, which has wow. helped it to explode so much, especially in the last 10 years. And I've kind of forgotten the question that you asked me.
I was just wondering if it's something that you recommend. Say I grab a group of buddies and we've got a jug of ayahuasca. We sit around and do it and get buggered up with Mother Ayahuasca alone.
Yes. I would highly recommend that route with pretty much any other psychedelic. I would say that, mushrooms or LSD is great for that kind of thing. And you can, in a way, especially with a group of buddies, you can invent your own ceremony, for want of a better word. You'll get together and you do whatever you do and whatever. With ayahuasca, I would say that the ceremonial aspect of it is so important that it's probably not a good idea with ayahuasca. My Don Victor, my maestro, he told me that the little shot glass that you drink, the little cup of mud that you drink, is half the story, and the other half of the story is the Icaros. You remember the songs that I sang throughout the ceremony, and he says those songs also share the same amount of history as the ayahuasca. There's in Peru, for instance, it's about a 2,000-year oral history of taking this medicine and singing the same songs. And he said that what happens is that doesn't even matter the words of the songs. It's the vibration of the song. Yeah. The amplitude of the songs that actually makes the ayahuasca work.
Dance inside your body.
And it actually makes it come up and work inside your body. Yeah. And of course, recently, in the past 5 or 10 years, there've been lots of, American hippies going and grabbing a bottle of ayahuasca and taking it to a festival and drinking it all.
I couldn't imagine.
Which is fine. And singing hippie songs and stuff. But what my teacher would tell me is that that's fine to do that, but it means that the ayahuasca doesn't work as good as it does, because he said it's the technology of the rhythm of the songs that actually makes the ayahuasca work.
So makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant way to put it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Still practicing?
Very much so. Yeah, I've moved to England, so and it's illegal here, so it's slightly more difficult to obtain it. I just think I've got a pipeline to Peru sorted out, so we're just waiting to see if we can get some supplies, and then we'll get going doing some ceremonies over here.
Oh, wow, great! I look forward to doing it again one day.
Yes, it would be great to meet and do it again, my brother.
Yeah, it would for sure. Mother Ayahuasca, when it's the right time, she'll put us back together.
Indeed.
Yeah. Listen, this has been a fascinating chat. I don't want to keep you too much longer. maybe before you go, a couple quick stories, maybe something, your own experience. How many times do you think you've done ayahuasca now, by the way?
I think I have probably done ayahuasca at least 500 times, I would say.
You've got to be joking me.
I mean, I've been doing
Wow.
it kind of regularly for how far is that? 2006. So that's 17 years. Yeah. And like I said, I probably did 100 with my maestro, and since I have been guiding ceremonies, I've probably guided 500 or 600, I'd say. Yeah. And I would totally back up whoever you mentioned, someone, the woman who was sitting next to you, and I would totally back up what she said, even after having experienced 500 or 600. None of them are the same. They're always different.
Wow.
Even if you do one the next day, if you do one and then do another one the next day, it'll be completely different, a completely different experience.
Fascinating. Yeah. And another fascinating thing I wanted people to know, you know, if they're scared about it, and, you know, the purging and the visions and stuff. I remember my first ceremony, there was a 75-year-old lady there that did the ceremony with us, and she loved it and had a, you know, a wonderful experience. And she did it with her son, who was there to keep watch on her. And I thought that first time I did, they were both special, but, you know, you never forget your first, as they say. And my first one was really special. So, maybe a quick crazy story before you leave. You've done it 500 times. You've done so many ceremonies. Is there one or two that stand out? Something happened, or maybe you could elaborate and tell us a great story.
Well, one of my favorite ceremonies, it's as you know, the format is usually, you know, 5 or 6 hours overnight or to dawn or whatever. One of my favorite ceremonies that I did in Thailand was a very unusual one, which was a daytime ceremony, which is actually one of only probably 2 or 3 daytime ceremonies that I've ever done. And we, a little group of us went up onto this. I was living in one of the islands in southern Thailand, and we went up to this place, which is a little, not quite an enclosed cave, but, you know, a couple of big rocks in a triangular formation. So there's a, you know, a little bit of a cave idea going on. And we were in the middle of the ceremony, and everything was going crazy, and, you know, whatever. And you can imagine it's slightly different during the daytime because, you know, all those visions mix in with the jungle, and it all gets very interesting. And I remember my favorite part of that ceremony, there was a troop of monkeys came and visited us in the middle of the ceremony. So there were all those monkeys in the trees. And I was staying at this place in southern Thailand where there's a bunch of hippies staying, and there happened to be a girl who was up on the rocks behind us, who she didn't know that we were there. We didn't know that she was there. She was practicing opera singing at the time. And it really, again, at the same time as the monkeys were coming. So we really got the sense that we were, you know, visited by an opera singing troupe of monkeys. It looked like it was the monkeys singing this opera, which is fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome. That would be something special for sure. Now, did she have a good opera?
Oh, she had a gorgeous voice, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, amazing. Well, listen, this has been fascinating. I'd love to have you back again sometime, and we can delve into it even more.
Yes, it would be a pleasure to see you, brother.
You know, I'd love to share some more of my stories too, because the first one, we didn't even talk about it, but that was pretty crazy for me in a great way. It's sort of, I have a massive fear of snakes. I think I've told you this privately, and Mother Ayahuasca sort of helped me to deal with it that night.
There tends to be a snaky, viney motif that a lot of people have in drinking ayahuasca. Yes.
And it was something. I went down this massive viper pit's throat. Anyway,
fantastic.
It was pretty. And what I was super proud of is, like, I would have opened my eyes and just come out of it because I was so scared. But Mother Ayahuasca sort of let me stay and didn't really help. I guess in the grand scheme of things, it did help me with my fear of snakes a little bit, compared to what I used to be. But she made me fight my way out of that viper's mouth and throat, and I did it, and I was so successful, and I remember being so proud. It was quite the trip, I'll tell you for sure.
Quite the trip indeed, and that's to me. That's why they call her the big yummy mummy, because she can help you to face all sorts of demons, all sorts of very difficult things, but she does it in such a a mothering, nurturing way that that you're comfortable in facing those things and doing that thing that, especially the things that you're really scared of. And so she can help you in the way that mothers do, to just, push you beyond your own self-imposed limitations.
Yeah. Fascinating stuff. I recommend, if anybody has the chance to go and do ayahuasca, you should really do it. Don't be afraid. It's Mother Ayahuasca. She'll take good care of you.
It's Mother Ayahuasca. She'll take care of you. Indeed.
For sure. Vinod, this has been something special. We've tried to get together for a while, and I sort of been disappeared, and then just did schedules and stuff. But I'm so glad we got to do this and have this chat and educate people.
Likewise, brother.
Tell some great stories about ayahuasca. It's a real pleasure to see you again.
And it would be great to see each other in a ceremony sometime in the future again. That would be marvelous.
Definitely. I look forward to that. My family's in England, so there's an excuse to get over there in the next little while.
Great.
Maybe have a ceremony.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much, man. I appreciate
Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks.
See ya.
Take care, Vinod.
See ya.
Wow, there you go. That's ayahuasca, folks. I hope you got some sort of education out of that. It's too bad he couldn't be live, and we could have answered some more questions and stuff more like properly, because I don't know everything about it. I just know my two experiences, what we asked Vinod tonight. But he's great. He's a beauty. He's over in England. I can't wait to get over there and see him. I got a great excuse to go over there now. I got family over there. I want to go do another ceremony. And I just feel so comfortable doing it with him. Like I said, my second episode with ayahuasca didn't go as smoothly as I would have liked as the first one. So I got to redeem myself. I want to see what Mother Ayahuasca's got in store for round 3, and we'll get there one day. He's a beauty for sure. Go check him out. Facebook, it's Vinod Ibex. I think you can find him on there if you're interested. You can ask him your own questions. We'll have him back again for sure. Send me questions if you got them, and then I'll write them down, and we'll have him on again another time. Anyways, if you do ever have the chance to do ayahuasca, please do it with a proper shaman, with somebody like Vinod, and enjoy it. And just let it happen. And you're gonna throw up. There's a 98% chance you're gonna barf your fucking brains out. Not everybody purges out their ass. It does happen. I think the first time I did, I don't think I did the second time. But there's a bathroom right there. Anywhere you do it, you just run off to the bathroom, out you go, and then you might even throw up in a bucket at the same time. It depends if you get a double whammy from old Mother Ayahuasca. Oh, beauty. Anyways, great talking to Vinod. Let's get into some football talk real quick here, because we had some amazing football games over the weekend. Ladies, I won't bore you too much I know you hate sports and stuff, but it doesn't matter, because this football weekend was unbelievable. We'll start with last night, because it's fresh in my mind. Tom Brady, 20th playoff appearance. Unbelievable. The guy's unreal, except for last night. Worst goddamn game I have ever seen him play since I started watching him play. It's like somebody came in and took Tom away and replaced him with like me at quarterback. I honestly think I might have been able to do the same job as Tom Brady did last night. It was embarrassing. I felt terrible for him. Fuck, he should have retired last year, eh? Could have retired on top. No, not so much. Anyways, it was embarrassing. Speaking of embarrassing, it's almost tough to do to trump how bad and how fucking brutal Tom Brady was last night in the game. Hey, Glassy?
This is fucking painful.
This is painful. Folks, the kicker, and I'm not even going to give you his name. I'm only going to refer to him as kicker or loser, because that's what he is. You have one job, son, Mr. Kicker. One job. Jerry Jones, sitting up in the old private box up there, was disgusted with you. He's paying your salary, and he's only paying you to do one thing and do it really well. Kick a fucking field goal or the extra point. Extra points are chip shots, right, Glassy? Like it's you and I could make an extra point. Now I understand there's 12, 11 guys running at you, but it doesn't matter.
I could sure make some semen necklaces. Ha. Anyway,
it looks like he's destined for
everybody leaves now. There you go.
I don't even think he shouldn't have been allowed on the plane last night, on the team plane home. He didn't miss 2 extra points. He didn't even miss 3, Glassy. He missed 4. A record-setting 4 missed extra points. Never happened, folks. It was I felt bad for him a little bit, but then I thought, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. A kicker for the goddamn Dallas Cowboys, raking in the do-re-mi, living the beautiful life, and all you got to do is kick a little ball between two posts.
We have some highlights. We have some highlights.
Here's the carnage, folks. Watch some of this.
The penalty helped, but just efficient. Ball was getting out on time. Missed it. An extra point.
Hey, Coach, thanks for coming on, man. You're the best.
In the end zone. Oh, my God.
Got to be kidding me.
I've never seen anything like it. 2-yard line instead of, having to go all the way back.
And no.
Oh, my goodness.
Unbelievable.
Just got the shanks a little bit.
I wouldn't even go over and console him. Look, Jerry Jones wants to choke him. The quarterback, Dak Prescott, he wanted to choke him. The coach wanted to choke him. And the guys are going,
yet he choked himself.
Little boy. I'd turn around and go, bro, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Okay, once, maybe twice, dude. 4 times. Honestly, if I was Jerry Jones, I'm cutting him. He's gone. Like, he wouldn't even be on the team. What would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah. Would you cut him after that debacle?
I probably wouldn't even show my face the next day.
Dude,
you have one job to do. That's all you do. This is what makes the CFL so fucking bad. It's because the kicker should not have the most points in the league. But this guy's got one job to do. Kick it through the uprights. He doesn't.
It comes down to so many field goals in the playoffs, in the big games. And if you don't have a guy that you can trust to put in there and make it from 52, 53 to win the Super Bowl or get you to the Super Bowl, you don't have him on your team, man. It's plain and simple. And this guy has lost his confidence. He would be cut. He'd be cut. I might take him home on the plane and then say, you know what? Go clean out your locker, Sonny. All right, let's get to a couple of videos and get the hell out of here.
Yeah, let's do a couple. You want to go golf?
Yeah, let's go golf. This is awesome. Okay. This guy's way
an asshole because I wish I could shoot like this. Like, what are the odds?
Well, pretty good if you had picked your line and you know.
Yes.
The whole challenge is you go around and you got to hit each color. It's difficult. Yeah. It's pretty awesome though. That guy's got great aim. Somebody asked, did Brady's team lose? Yeah, lose. They didn't even show up. It was the worst. It was honestly, it looked like an NFL team playing a Division III college team. It was that bad last night for sure.
It was just spanking. Yeah, it was.
Emil's right. Peyton literally got up and left and had to do a lap of the studio to come back. That was after the third one. You imagine I can't remember what he did after the fourth, but yeah, just absolute craziness. What a debacle. I don't know how that guy goes home to his wife last night. And I hope he doesn't even have kids so they don't get made fun of at school. But yeah, wild. Okay, enough of this next video, dude. I'm all about being an adrenaline junkie and stuff.
Sure.
Bungee jumping, one of my favorite things I've ever done. This is on a whole new level. First of all, check out the tower and then watch what these maniacs do.
Love the music.
Gravity. Working.
Dude, watch. Like I hear every bone in his body.
Gravity. Working.
Was that only in Africa, or where was that?
Well, it looks somewhere not around here, put it that way. Look at that rickety old. I can't believe that thing stayed up for one, and to jump off it with that much pull, that's some pretty impressive building there.
Right? No.
Gravity.
Did you see his body?
Working.
Watch his body.
Watch him.
Gravity.
Anyway. Oh, what do I do here? There we go.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Let's put a background on. Hold on. Go ahead. Yap away.
What else you got coming up here? Seems like when Brad's watching my son, he seems like Ohio activity.
Hey, Brad. Happy New Year.
Hey, Brad. Yeah, Ohio, that makes some sense. Maybe even Buffalo. They do some pretty crazy stuff over in Buffalo, too.
Yeah. Actually, funny thing with the circling back to the playoffs, which means in 3 weeks' time, I get to blow up a microwave again this year. Time has
We're
come.
back to this, are we?
5-2, baby. 5-2. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
All right. I it's the favorite part of my play the Super Bowl is you and your can of beans in that microwave. But believe me, I swear.
Okay. So let's switch, stay with sports. Let's switch to hockey. And this reporter might have slipped up on air when she was talking about a player's injury. I'll just tee it up.
1 week ahead of schedule from when he had back surgery on his herniated disc. He was supposed to come back in 8 weeks tonight, March 7th.
I beg your pardon, what?
She said what?
1 week ahead of schedule from when he had back surgery on his herniated disc. Had back surgery on his herniated disc. Had back surgery on his herniated disc. He was supposed to come back in 8 weeks tonight, March 7th.
Sarah Davis.
I think she's a Kraken reporter too. That's
she wants somebody's D. She's got it on the mind. That was a nice slip up there.
He had a herniated disc.
It happens. It happens from time to time, Glassy.
Speaking of slip-ups, this is a buddy of mine who works in Kelowna. Speaking of slip-ups, I'll tee it up here. He works as a morning show on one of the radio stations in Kelowna. We had Brad Karp on last year from K96.3. This is my buddy Kieran, who I used to work with years ago. He pulled some audio that he might have made a slip up himself.
There's some absolutely fantastic beaches. There are some very gorgeous houses, homes all along Abbott Street, you name it.
This is in Kelowna.
Very gorgeous houses, homes all along Abbott Street.
There's definitely some beautiful homes there. I'm not quite sure about
beautiful homes. He done fucked up. I had one of those meetings once. I condone drinking and driving, which is not a very good thing because I apparently thought that condoning something was a negative, but it's actually a positive.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I should have read a thesaurus before that.
Maybe. Or finished high school.
Or I finished high school and went on to BCIT.
Well, maybe you should have paid better attention.
Maybe I should have.
Speaking of paying better attention, this made me laugh. But watch, just watch and follow along.
Let it roll with it.
The sidewalk went from a green to a black diamond real quick.
Oh!
They're gonna have fun telling this story to operate roller ski. Imagine the level of asshole you have to be.
Watch how hard one of the blues.
Finding your husband roller skiing is worse than finding him in bed with your sister. I'd judge you less if your hobby was kidnapping and killing orphans.
Watch this.
No. This is where they go.
Man, that's gonna leave a mark. Probably gonna need some dental repairs.
This is where they go at that moment. He fucked up.
Oh,
I invented
man.
a new sport where I took a snowboard and put wheels on it. That's just a skateboard. You shut the hell up, Leif. That's my business partner back there.
Oh, wow. That made me laugh. My face hurts from laughing so much. That face plant, that's something else.
This is
we got one more.
Oh,
this is awesome. This cat, listen, it's on a mission. Never trust a Siamese cat. We used to have one, and the thing was crazy. Not quite this crazy, but yeah, this is something different. Whatever's in there, he really wants it. Look at that. That's the light. And then the video ends. I wanted to see if it went ass over tea kettle off the counter or if it even got the door open. We'll never know.
I wanted to see the door opening, but yeah.
And he gave it his all, but just wasn't enough.
Yep. I don't know why you sent me this. This is kind of a dumb video, but go ahead and tee this one up.
I can't tell what it is.
I think it's a fish.
Let's just roll it and I'll
Somewhere beyond the sea.
Okay, hold on. Okay, go ahead.
The swordfish is through his goddamn leg.
Well, they're filming it.
they're in a hospital. But why somebody isn't holding the fish down for one? Because he does move around here. You'll see in a second. And the pain that much, but it looks like the guy doesn't even flinch. So he's probably so doped up on morphine at this point, it doesn't even matter. He could have 4 swordfish through his legs. But that's pretty. There is a video to this, and I didn't have time. I couldn't find it. But you see somebody caught it on video. Anyways, this is the follow-up. If you will, in the hospital room, but it's not something you see every day, for sure.
Somewhere beyond the sea,
but he's playing with
waiting for me. My lover stands on.
I don't think he realizes that it's a prop. He's playing with it. Well, God, I hate that.
It's time to get the hell out of here.
He's totally playing
beyond the sea. Somewhere waiting for me. My lover stands on.
I think it's a total prop.
It's a prop, dude. But there is a true story where there's a video of the fish going through the dude's leg. I wasn't even making that up.
Okay.
That's enough. Honestly, it's past my bedtime. I'm usually in bed by now.
We got 2 more, and I've saved one for the best for last.
Oh yeah, this is actually really funny. I get a kick out of this. These guys are beauties, especially my friend. This would be me and you at the end. Watch.
All right. Wait for it.
Look at this one. And then you got Buddy coming in hot. I got such a kick out of that when I saw it the first time. It was awesome.
What did you? We haven't been back. Everybody wants to probably die. No. New Year's. What did you do for New Year's?
Absolutely nothing. I was in bed at 9:30 and I watched the College Bowl game that was on that night. I think it was Georgia and Ohio State, I believe. Anyway, it was a fantastic game. It came the kick field goal came right down to it literally at midnight, 12:00. Buddy kicked the ball and it went through the uprights like it's supposed to when you're a kicker. And yeah, that's how I spent it watching it on my computer in bed. And I was probably asleep half hour later.
This is what I did.
I know.
This is what I went and did.
Nice.
Everyone's like, why don't you come out to the pub, come out to the club, whatever. I'm like, you know what? My New Year's Eve case of beer, I'm cheap, right? I'll pick up a case of beer, grab my dogs. By the way, Dad says hi to everybody out there. Thank you for all who have messaged. Well. Yep, he's doing good. I also have a new addition to the family. That is Ziggy.
Ziggy.
And Ziggy
Look at how handsome Ziggy is.
He's a little pit bull. Got him 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. So
Milo jealous?
He is, but he hates photos, as you can see here. This is when I visited Dad yesterday. Dad's in long-term care. He's doing well. And yeah, he had a little bit of things going on, but he's doing better. So thanks to everybody who's reached out, messaged. Before we go, if you're on YouTube and you got nothing better to do and you want something to do, check out this. It's a poo movie coming out. It's dark. It's total B movie, but it looks kind of half promising. It's but it's a B movie. Let me say
that
that.
one a pass, bro.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
Well, no worse than Bandits.
I'm just gonna. All right, that's it. Huge thanks to you for producing.
Hang on.
Nice to have you back. Listen to you. What now?
Okay, you tee up the end, and I'll.
No, you go. No, you finish up.
No, I'll tee up the last video. You go ahead.
All right. I just wanted to say huge thanks to you. Nice to have you back producing the show. Great job. Big thanks to Vinod for the Ayahuasca Shaman for educating us all about ayahuasca. That was a lot of fun. Don't forget, next week we got Chris Costner, Guitars for the Glorious Sons. Brand new single out. Go check it out.
Yes.
It's called Spaceman. The video is awesome too. It's on YouTube, all the music streaming sites as well. And then we got Canadian actor Jesse Camacho as well. Awesome, dude. Huge thanks to the sponsors of the show. We got Don't Trip, You're Fine. It's Brad Bond's clothing company. That's my son. He's doing awesome. Actually, on Thursday, we're going to play Brad's new single that he just released along with the video. You're going to love the video. It's kick-ass. You can go check him out on YouTube as well. But make sure you go check out his clothing line. It's www.don'ttripyourfine.com. Go to that website. You can get some hoodies. You can get toques. He's got stickers. He's got it all. T-shirts. He'll custom make any color tie-dye you want. So they're fully custom made. They're super comfortable. I had 2 or 3 of them, and they're so good that people asked nicely for them when I was with them wherever I was, and I gave them all away because that's what you do.
And I'm still waiting on a T-shirt.
It's in the mail. It's coming. Trust me. Well, you never remind me. Anyways,
Milo, are you listen to this shit? Jesus.
Anyway. All right, make sure you go check out Don't Trip Your Fine on Instagram, Facebook, and check out the website as well. All right, and the show's also brought to you by Scramble Clothing, Scramble Golf. Make sure you check them out at www.scrambleclothing.com. They've got amazing clothes, whether you're into beach wear, surf wear, golf wear, they got it all. There's my boy Rob. Spoke to him today on the phone, actually. Love that guy. Such a beauty. He's out in Palm Desert. Anyways, he's repping the squad life there. That's all part of the Scramble Golf clothing wear. Go check it out. They're on Instagram as well. Give them a follow and order some swag. They got some great stuff. Wicked hats as well. So check them out. And thanks to them for being a sponsor of the show. And of course, don't forget Above Your Service. We love those guys.
Absolutely.
Rice Cooper. That's a super special service. So go check them out on Facebook. Donate some money if you can. Follow them and just help out what you can. And listen, every single day, try and do something nice for somebody. That's what Pat always strived to do, and sort of kept me honest on it too. We would always sort of not challenge each other, but he would always say, "Hey man," anytime I talked to him, he was just always wanting to do something nice for somebody. So that's just how awesome he was. I'll miss him forever, and rest in peace, bro. What a great show. I had fun.
100%. We will see you Thursday.
That's it. That's all. Yeah, see you Thursday. Bye.
Oh, hang on. There you go. Give your social media some plug.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But I said bye.
Rob, you're living in your fucking parents' basement.
Right.
Give your fucking social media plug.
You can follow me on all the social media. Go check me out on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then you got Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, the whole 9 yards. I'm on TikTok, but I'm not really on TikTok. But go follow me anyway. Every number helps. Follow helps. So there we go. All right. I'm looking forward to getting back in a rhythm here. And we got some great guests coming up. And it's been fun to do this again. So let's go. That's it. That's all. Peace. We'll see you Thursday. Bye.
This is going to help you save on your toilet tissue bill. You fold it 1 time. You fold it 2 times. Then you fold it a 3rd time. Then you see this little tip right here? You tear that off. Once you get done taking a shit or pissing, you put your finger in there, you wipe your ass, okay? Then you take this and you wipe all this off.
I like a finger up the beehole as much as the next closeted guy, but this is disgusting.
We're probably going to get totally flagged for playing 2 Posh.0 videos today.
You clean all this shit out your finger.
And that's why he won the 2018 Nobel Prize in Economics. I don't know if that would work for me. Most of Danny's dukers are dewy.
What was that? That was very strange. It was very weird. Peculiar. It was kind of amusing. Yes, it was rather funny. It was incredibly funny. I loved it. Hilarious. Wonderful.